Caleb here, back again with more bad fanfiction theater, and we have a guest. Was that you trying to do a cute voice, or was that my computer being stupid?
I think it was me trying to do a cute voice and distorting it just enough that it sounded really, really weird. I always try and do something different and, keep everybody guessing every time. Maybe I should just say hello and...
I don't know why. Maybe it's because I've been so invested in Atop the Fourth Wall fandom, but the when you did that, for some reason, Insano's son popped into my head, and basically he's like... Have you seen those like little plush toys and things of like microbes and viruses and stuff?
Yeah, I have.
Well, I think he's supposed to be one of those. I think he's supposed to be the rhinovirus, the cold virus. But, I'm not sure. Cause I only found out Insano had a son, like, yesterday. And I was like, oh, that's what the pink spiky thing is. Okay.
Sometimes children come as a surprise.
Yeah, well, this one came from a petri dish. And then, like, mutated into a giant, I don't know. Anyway.
I'm your increasingly permanent guest.
Yes. So much so that we have said maybe he should just, I should just take the guest part off of the video.
I think you should just play with it, like, extra special guest villain, or, different titles for different videos.
He's my arch enemy, but he's also my best friend.
Yeah, see, it's...
That would be a great idea for a sitcom.
The perfect odd couple or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I heard they were bringing back the odd couple.
They always do. They always bring back, like, these old premises every now and then. They'll run dry on ideas and they'll think, well, let's just do that again. I don't know. I think they should just make a show with Liza Minnelli and just forget about everything else. Just have, like, a day with Liza and just do it every week. I don't know why. I just pulled her out of this various stables of people that seem like they live interesting lives, despite the fact that they probably just live lives like the rest of us. I don't know. I mean, I'd imagine watching Liza Minnelli sort of fart around the house would be more interesting than watching me. I don't know. Not literally fart around the house.
I hope not, because we were done with Star Turds like 2 years ago.
Yeah, or Start Turds, as typos may.
Yes, Start Turds, as I accidentally typed once. But anyway, today we are going to be visiting the Sailormoon / Ronin Warriors universe and fandom. I don't know why I said universe when I could have just said fandom. I've been reading way too much atop the fourth wall, which, openly states there are multiple universes. We are reading a Sailormoon and Ronin Warriors crossover fanfiction called Serena Takes A Stand by Moonlight Bushido. I'm not really sure why we chose this name as our pen name, but okay.
Maybe all they do is Sailor Moon plus Samurai Warriors. I don't know.
Maybe. I mean, I really haven't looked, and I'm not going to bother to right now, but I don't really have any good lead up to this story aside from I like Sailor Moon, and I vaguely remember Ronin Warriors when Toonami was very big and very important to the Western, at least I don't know if it was anywhere else, but at least here in America, Toonami was huge and really helped bring in, the Japanese media and everything to do with anime. I'm going to start, and we'll be switching by paragraphs. This is a really lame intro because I really have nothing to say about this.
I think Sailor Moon and Samurai Warriors, they were both 90s series, and they were both kind of popular and iconic at the same time. So it seems like it was an odd thing that there weren't more of these crossovers written, and maybe I just didn't know about them, but they were both pretty well popular. I mean, in the US they weren't popular. They didn't hit the big popularity at exactly the same time usually, but I mean, it was both of them kind of hit it big. A lot of people, I guess, have kind of forgotten about Samurai Warriors or Ronin Warriors as they were called here. which is odd because like I don't know why they would change it from Samurai Warriors to Ronin Warriors because of the
Maybe saying outright they were samurai was stereotyping or something. I don't know.
but like it was the Japanese title.
I know, but that still doesn't. Well, see here for some reason.
And like Ronin is it's like a masterless wandering samurai. So it just overcomplicates this whole thing. Like it's
Well, I was thinking about this earlier because I was I was thinking about doing I think it was a Yu-Gi-Oh story or something. I forget what it was, but I went on a tangent to myself about this because back in the 90s, early 2000s is when we started to get away from it, but they still heavily edited and censored and renamed and crap everything that, was foreign, and especially if it came from Japan. And there just seemed to be this huge mental thing going on with the guys doing all this editing and stuff. It's like anything that was foreign, we had to squash it and make it as vaguely American as possible, because how dare we talk about other places aside from good old awesome USA, patriotism all the way. And that's really what it was, I feel, in some respects.
it really yeah it really was. I completely agree, and it's disconcerting
Yeah.
to me because when I was a kid, we were exposed to a lot of different cultures. And of course, through my life, we
Yeah.
moved all around and were, directly exposed to a lot of different cultures. But like even growing up in like the United States for various places, I was still exposed to a lot of different cultures, and there seemed to be in a lot of the 90s anime, like some of them prided themselves in being true to whatever was in the Japanese, but many of them were just like, yeah, if it's anything Japanese, we've got to change it because God forbid American children be exposed to something that's not of their own culture. It's like their minds are going to explode or
Yeah.
melt down if they find a rice ball or something like that. It's like
Yeah,
when I
all the
was
rice balls, or was it,
jelly donuts.
yeah. And I'm like, guys, just because we don't eat rice balls here doesn't mean a kid isn't going to be like, rice ball? Nah. But okay. A little kid doesn't give a shit. They want a cool cartoon.
Yeah, and like I was saying, when I was a kid, when we were exposed to this stuff, it was really exciting. Like we'd look into it, we'd be like, "Oh, so that's what that is. Let's try making them sometime. It's really cool. It's something different that we don't have all the time." But one of the things that we also learned was that there are many different cultures in the United States, and there are people that do, you know, they do cook rice balls, and they do have, you know, this or that or the other. It seems just like you were saying, it seems not only uncomfortably xenophobic, but really just uncomfortable all around. Because while I will say that, from my practical experience of Japanese society, there is a lot of xenophobia there. I don't like seeing that in any culture, in any medium. And I know some people, they're like, why do you want the Japanese voices, blah blah blah. Well, I know some people can't understand them and still prefer them anyway. But I don't think that's something that is problematic. Like, why bitch about more options? Why complain about having more options, especially when it's apples and oranges. It's two very different things anyway, because the whole approach to voice acting is different. But like, especially when throughout the years it has been so censored and so altered, and so many things just, there's a lot of stuff. I mean, there are some really talented voice actors out there in Japan, in English-speaking countries, in Italy, in all these different. I've heard all kinds of dubs, but on the whole, Japanese voice acting tends to be of a very consistent level because they have such a wide variety of animation that it is more of a, I don't know. It seems like so often with American voice acting, they tend to treat the actors as disposable or like exchangeable, you know, and and you get that in a lot of series where like they'll have this English voice actor for several of the episodes or series or games or what have you, and then they'll just change to someone else. And sometimes it's better, sometimes it's not quite so good. Sometimes you have people that prefer this one, sometimes they prefer that one, but there's not a lot of that same kind of consistency and loyalty in a lot of the American voice acting industry, I find, anyway, as there is in so much of the Japanese. Like with a lot of Japanese series, you will get the same people to do the same roles until they either retire or die, and it's one of those things. Like, you can always go back to a Japanese series, and it will tend to have the same exact people for pretty much all of the roles, unless they have either passed the role on or they have passed away. And you don't often get that in a lot of English dubs, and there is always that little fiddly hand of censorship in there, especially with stuff that's being marketed to wider audiences and to younger audiences, because God forbid they find out about lesbians. Let's call them cousins so that they're lesbian cousins instead. Because incest is so much more palatable.
Yeah, I know, right? 'Cause I remember being little and watching that and going, they said they were cousins, right? I'm not really sure why we started talking about dubs and stuff.
Well, it's from changing the name from Samurai Warriors to Ronin Warriors, and
Well, nobody would know. No American at the time would know what Ronin meant. So close enough.
I don't know. I mean, I would say that probably children and younger audiences might not know, but it's not exactly unknown. I mean, the samurai were very prominent in history, and so.
Yeah, well, I know what samurai are, but I don't think people would know what Ronin is what I mean. So that was more okay to change than leaving it samurai, is what I meant.
I really don't know.
I mean, I'm just guessing here.
I think if you had found out about samurai, you'd probably know about Ronin, but who knows? Really, we're just dividing hairs here, but it is really puzzling to me, because if they're just going to call it something so similar anyway.
Yeah, they should have just left it, because I mean, they're samurai. I mean, I don't remember if they ever actually. Granted, it's been a long time since I watched the American version of Ronin Warriors, but I don't remember if they ever actually talked about being in Japan. But I just can't remember if they actually stated that in the show.
And just like you said, that people would know about samurai.
Mm-hmm.
Why would they change the name to Ronin? I mean, because people would know. They would see the word samurai and they'd be like, yeah, I completely know what a samurai is. But they'd see Ronin and they might not know. I mean, it's just weird.
Maybe it's a copyright thing?
I don't know.
Because sometimes they would do that if there was a copyright.
Because, it's funny, though, because in the UK, with all their nanny state bullshit, but like for decades, for quite some time, even before this current era of idiocy, they couldn't have things like ninja in titles, and I don't know if that also included samurai or not, but I know that like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles was renamed something
like Hero Turtles or something like that.
I forgot what it was. I remember reading about that years ago, but yeah, the BBC's always got to have its tits in something, censoring people for their own good, because, God forbid anybody turn on the internet or read a book anymore. But anyway, we should probably get to.
Yeah, I'm like, we could complain about this for a while, but that was just something I was thinking about earlier, and kind of applies here. Just for random thinking and discussion about times past. So, we are reading Serena Takes a Stand on fanfiction.net. It is a crossover with Sailormoon and Ronin Warriors. If you want to read along, it will be down in the description below. So let's go.
All right.
No one ever asks me what I want, which I don't even have to think about because I'm supposedly going to have a terrific future married to that rose-throwing idiot.
Wow, you're an asshole.
Yes.
Honestly, like, you've got your fucking future. You're the fucking queen. You rule the entire... You rule. You literally are the ruler of the future. You have a caring husband that is devoted to you and completely and utterly dedicated. You have admittedly kind of bratty daughter. But, I mean, she means well. But seriously, though, I don't know. Maybe it would kind of be disconcerting to know that, but I can only imagine it would be also amazingly reassuring when you're going through how terrible, like, middle school and then later high school was in Sailor Moon. Because, like, especially if you're Japanese, I mean, that would be like, oh, so I'm going to be okay, you know?
Yeah. It's like, oh, my future, not really that bad. The Earth kind of goes to shit for a millennium or so, but hey, I fix it.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, really.
But Serena apparently is not in love with Darien. I'm going to be using English names, by the way, just so people know in case it comes up. I think this story strictly uses English names. Just want to say, if you don't like him, just be like, I'm not into you, dude. Sorry. I mean, obviously, Darien and Serena are meant to be, but if this story wants to go to the route where Serena is like, no, I don't want him, then she should just be like, Darien, we're not going to be boyfriend and girlfriend or queen and king in the future.
And I mean, it's always, there's always a possibility with futures and time travel and timelines and stuff that things will change, or that there's a possibility that, they'll be apart for a while and then they'll get back together, for whatever reason in future. There's no reason why you can't do that in a story if you want to do this. You don't have to make someone out to be a giant douchebag just because you don't. And, like when I saw Sailor Stars, and I saw it when it was coming on Japanese TV, I remember seeing Sailor Stars, and after 4 years of Sailor Moon going through the same basic motions, essentially, with some really good moments. I mean, I really like the series. I still love the series. But like with Sailor Stars, when they sort of wrote Mamoru out at the beginning and had the starlights built up much more than they were in the comic, as Seiya as a potential romantic interest and everything.
Yeah, which I totally support that pairing, by the way.
Yeah, I really liked it. I thought it was really cool because it was something different. We had 4 years of the same basic old reliable, and they mixed it up a bit. And obviously, ultimately, Usagi and Mamoru, Darien and Serena, sorry.
If it's easier for you to go through to use the Japanese names, that's fine. It's just, people might get confused. So Serena.
It's just been such a long time since I've seen the dub.
So in case people are confused, because I'll probably be doing English names, he'll be doing Japanese names. Serena is Usagi, and Darien is Mamoru, if I'm saying that correctly.
Mamoru, but yeah, close enough. Anyway,
okay.
Horseshoes and hand grenades. But like, that's the example of something that I think in this sort of situation works really well. Like, you can mix it up. You can have the audience say, well, weren't those two supposed to get together? But I like these two too. You can build that up and you can make them. It's still something viable that people can buy into and say, I like this, even though it may not be what ultimately happens in the future, I like this now. And even if, I could potentially write something where it is what happens in the future or have things change or something. That was what made Sailor Stars, I feel like, so interesting, because there was so much that was working there, that was interacting, that could change. And aside from a few well, kind of, I won't say small grievances I had with it because they were kind of major. Uranus and Neptune, as usual. But, but aside from a few grievances I had with Sailor Stars, I thought that it was overall exactly what the series needed. I thought it was kind of a shame that it was the last series because like they did so much with it that I did agree with, and I thought was something that was the logical next step. It was where they needed to go with the story. They needed to do something different with it because Supers was its own sort of different thing, but it seemed like it was almost a step backwards after S. And so when they went to Stars and had Tuxedo Mask sort of sidelined and had the Sailor Stars instead, I thought that, well, this is really cool. It's so different. It's refreshing. It's something so different.
I'm not even allowed to date other people. Well, that's a lie.
Yeah.
You are open to any relationship you so choose, ma'am. Seem interested in anyone else? You pretty much are through several different times in the show. We just talked about one of those.
Yeah.
All for the sake of my so-called friends. Wow, you, sir, are an asshole.
They have died for you several times.
Several times the scouts have died and then been resurrected.
They have literally put their lives on the line for your ass.
And you are such a dick. They should totally let Diamond have you so you can have that miserable life.
Like, seriously, you question their dedication to you, and they have literally died for you. Like, I don't know.
If they were really my friends, I could talk about this with them. Then why don't you?
Yeah, seriously.
Why don't you? Or if you really don't like them for some reason, go get new friends and just fight with them, because technically, they're just your servants. They're your guardians, pretty much, to save your ass. Granted, if they don't like you, I don't see why they would protect you, but that's pretty much what their job description is to protect the princess of the Silver Millennium.
That's true, although I don't think other people would be able to take upon the roles because they essentially were reincarnations of the old god. They'd come round again. They were the princesses of their planets and such. I mean, they should try it, It could be something where they could write in someone that wasn't, that...
Yeah.
Oh, who knows? I mean, there's so many celestial bodies. You could write some asshole in every role. You could be Sailor Pleiades or something.
Well, when you do bring in Sailor Stars, anybody could technically become a Sailor Scout once you start factoring in Sailor Stars.
Yeah, although usually the ones that Galaxia's servants made into Sailor whatevers were kind of warped.
Yeah.
It may not have gone well. You could do like a Madoka Magica kind of direction.
I mean, if you really didn't want to consider them friends for some reason, they could just be your co-workers in saving the universe. Kind of douche of you since they believe so much in you, and they love you a lot.
Yeah, I do not get... I don't know. Like, this is writing checks I don't think it can cash because it's presuming that they are not, in fact, her real friends, despite the fact that they have shown how close she is with all of her friends.
I think we're just trying to give justification for why Darien sucks. And while Serena should totally hit this other guy from Ronin Warriors.
You know what's sad is that, like, even in the series they would poke fun at it, like, from time to time they would poke fun at the fact that, Tuxedo Kamisama would appear all the time in the nick of time and give some speech. They had villains poking fun at that eventually, and it was funny because we were all just like, yeah, he kind of does that, that's kind of his thing. But, like,
If they were really my friends, I could talk about this with them, but they all want me married to that rose-wielding buffoon. He saved your ass, a lot.
Yeah, and you've shown massive interest in him.
Pretty much, yeah. If you haven't guessed by now, this is Serena Wait, we're going using her... Did she have a last name in English? I don't remember.
pretty sure she did, but I don't remember what it was. I think Darian's was Darian Shields, which makes sense because his name means like. But but yeah, I'm pretty sure they all had I'm pretty sure they all had surnames in the dub, although it didn't come up all that much. But I remember some of them, so
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure they would have done all of them.
Hold on, I'm gonna look this up because now I'm wondering. Oh no! No, they kept her. Oh wait, that's Brazilian names. I was about to say, what? I was like, no, they kept her last name. I need English.
They did a different translation for the manga, and I think they did, like originally they did a different translation for the comic, and then recently when they reprinted the comics because it wasn't the same translation, they did it differently as well. I think they kept the original names in the more recent one, but I don't remember.
Okay, so according to this website, which is SailorMoonWika.com, her English name was in fact Serena Tsukino.
That's weird. I don't think that's right though.
I don't remember it being right because then they have the dub names being Amy Mizuno, Amy Anderson. That sounds more like it probably. Ray. Yeah, they changed the spelling of her name, but still Ray. Ray Hino. Lita Kino. See, they have like other names under it, and I don't know if that's from the comic or exactly what.
Yeah, I remember distinctly all of the ones that I can remember them having anglicized names. I don't remember any of them having their original Japanese names, and in fact, like Ray was obviously, sounded the same but different. Makoto was Lita.
Yeah.
And they changed those names.
If we're wrong about that, and anybody can correct that or confirm it, go ahead and do so because, yeah. And I want my life to be different, damn it! Look what happened when I was forced into nearly marrying him during the Silver Millennium. Beryl was kind of an asshole. That really had nothing to do with you marrying Darian. And then you committed suicide.
Well, it may have had something to do with her marrying him, but that was Beryl's thing. I mean,
Yeah.
it wasn't like those two getting together was Beryl's responsibility. It's her fault. I mean, like if she decided, oh yeah, I've got to destroy everything, that's kind of on her,
Mm-hmm. Beryl destroyed everything, which I don't want him anyhow. She could have him back. She could have had him back. I don't think he ever actually dated her. Like, ever, from what I remember. She's just kind of there.
Wait, what?
Beryl. What they're implying that she openly dated Darian back when during the Silver Millennium, and I'm like, no. I don't think that was a thing.
I want to say that there was something between them, but I don't remember what it was.
What I remember was she had a one-sided interest, and then she found out that Prince Darian was dating Princess Serenity, and she grew jealous, which is what led her to becoming Queen Beryl, because she was jealous of that.
I cheered internally when Beryl caught him. I damn near danced for joy when I sensed Galaxia kill him, and yes, I knew he was dead. I played dumb for my scouts. Wow, you were an asshole.
Very much so.
You are a giant dick.
Again, just be like, dude, sorry, I'm not into you. Go away now. That's really all you have to do.
Yeah, you don't have to celebrate his death. It's not like he did anything bad. He saved your ass more times than I care to admit. In all this time, I've only ever had one person I could count on, someone I could talk to about all this.
Somebody we never actually saw in the show, nor have you ever really established in this fanfic until Serena's apparently saying this now, cared about her. That she had a relationship with this dude. We're just supposed to take your word for it.
Yeah, funny enough, she apparently didn't see fit to talk to her friend, Naru, or Molly. I think her name was.
Yeah, well, nobody cares about Molly. She just kind of faded from existence once she hooked up with Melvin.
Yeah. It's just kind of funny though. I mean, it's like, oh well. Anyway, in all this time, I've only ever had one. Blah 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 blah. Yeah, I read that. He lets me speak my mind, asks for my opinion. He doesn't just assume I don't have one. I can be myself with him, and he treats me far better than Darren ever has.
I'm gonna say bullshit on that.
Yeah, that's kind of bullshit. That's kind of bullshit. Why am I still with that buffoon again? Oh, right, because of my scouts. They all love the idea of me sacrificing everything so they never have to fight again. You asshole!
You guys have to fight in the future. When you become queen, you are pretty much powerless. Because Rini becomes Sailor Moon by then, when she grows up into a teenager, but anyway.
Well, I mean, Queen Serenity is actually very powerful because she has the Ginzuishi.
Well, yeah, but she also can't basically become a scout anymore.
I think she's kind of beyond that, though.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I mean, I haven't really watched the Japanese version, so maybe it's clearer on that than the American version was. But in the one I watched when I was little was, basically, yeah, she got, powerful and stuff, but that was only because she had the Silver Millennium Crystal. And then after a certain point, she couldn't become a scout anymore. So the scouts were still scouts, but, and that was really her only line of defense aside from probably like palace guards and stuff.
No, like, it's been a long time since I read it and watched the show, but I'm pretty sure that Neo Queen Serenity was actually very, very, very powerful. But there was a lot of time fuckery, of course. And,
yeah.
Once you start playing with the timelines and time travel, it all gets very confusing.
I hated him in my former life. You're an asshole. Then why did you invite him to the moon? Why did you send to Earth to be with him? I had already fallen for someone else, and my bitch mother, you're a dick! She sacrificed herself so you would have a future, you asshole! Had him killed off to make room for me to get married to Ediamon. I think I totally, butchered that name, but whatever.
Endymion.
Endymion, which would have never happened anyhow. Yeah, it would have, because your mother's the queen and you're a princess, and you pretty much marry who she says you should marry. I'd have killed myself first. Oh, wait, you did.
Burn!
Well, she did. She killed herself because the Prince Darien died. None of them get it. If not for him, being Sailor Moon would have driven me insane ages ago.
How?
I don't know. Maybe all the monster attacks and crazy people trying to kill her? That would be enough to freak me out.
Everybody else seems fine.
Yeah, she seems pretty well adjusted when she gets past the crybaby stage of the, first season.
Yeah, she's totally well adjusted, and everybody else is well adjusted. It's not like I don't know, they're all such different people, but they're so well adjusted to this. They just sort of slide into it. It's like superheroes, they just sort of slide into it. They basically are superheroes anyway. But I mean, it's gone insane ages ago. My ass.
He's kept me centered. Who? Your boyfriend or Darien? You're kind of talking about one person, then not very clearly switching to the other person. I can bitch all I want to him, and he lets me. Because he's just a doormat, I guess. Because he understands. I'm sure he does. In a way, none of my scouts can. Have you tried? No? Okay, then. He's also a leader. Yeah, I think. It's been a while since I watched Ronin Warriors, and he knows the kind of pressure that can put on a person. Maybe because nobody else would know.
I'm just gonna go out on a limb here and say that he probably just lets it hold because he's too busy thinking about all the dick he gets on the side from his teammates.
Probably. He has a cool white tiger. I'd date him. He's got a white tiger.
There's some things you can say.
Okay, I'm a cat girl.
That's not what you should say in this case.
Look, we read bad fanfic. Eventually somebody's going to write fanfic about us, so they might as well have stuff to use.
Oh, God. Okay.
Who was reading? I forget.
He also knows why I eat so much. None of the others ever bothered to ask.
High metabolism?
Yeah, high metabolism, or maybe you like to eat. Who cares? What does it even matter? Why, it would be more offensive for someone to ask that than not to ask. It's a mark of respect that they don't ask. I use up so much power and have so much that I need food energy. What? I use up so much power and have so much that I need food energy almost constantly in order to be able to function. All those bad grades are just for show. Yeah, because in the extremely oppressive and stifling Japanese school system, bad grades are just for show.
Yeah.
All that pressure is so pleasant.
Let's see, there was also that one time your mom, I think this was the very first episode, locked you out of the house because of your grades being so bad. and I'm sure you really appreciated it that you continue to have bad grades for show so your mother could continually lock you out of the house.
Yeah, I'm sure that was really pleasant. And going to cram school and all these other bullshit pastimes, I'm sure that was just an absolute delight. Especially given the fact that you also had to balance that with your superheroing career, saving the world from being conquered by an evil, insane queen.
Also, if I remember correct, Serena in the future can't write worth shit. Her writing sucks ass. So I'm pretty sure it's not just for show, even in the future when you're the fucking queen and have kids.
Yeah, I think I remember in like the Japanese version, she wrote in hiragana, like it's the way that a child would write. They found the note. I want to say that they questioned that it was. At first, they questioned it was from her, and then they thought, well, it's got to be from her. But like, I want to say that they weren't sure if what did they call her? Chibiusa, Rini. They weren't sure if Rini had forged it or not because it was so basic. Anyway. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that wasn't an act. But I'm a genius. I just act normal in order to protect those I can.
No, Amy's the genius. You're a dumb nut.
Yeah. And how would that protect anyone? You're the leader. If you were smart, that would make it so much easier for everyone else.
Yes, it would. Luna probably would not have had so many heart attacks.
Yeah, really. I mean, honestly,
poor Luna.
Everybody else is putting their asses on the line and like basically getting their asses blown off constantly because they think, oh shit, she's pure-hearted and good of intention, but she's dumb as a box of hammers. It's if they didn't think that she was kind of pure but stupid, they probably would not have had to work quite so hard.
Yeah, pretty much.
Apparently no one can see through my act. Again, bullshit. I know for damn sure that Darren is the one that has been the cause of my clumsiness. I'll admit Earth gravity gives me a little bit of a problem.
You have been an Earthling since you were born on Earth for your second part of life. You are used to Earth's gravity now.
Yeah, in this life you were born as a Terran. You were born on the Earth. You are not getting used to Earth. You are not having moon flashbacks from being a baby. I'll admit Earth's gravity gives me a little bit of a problem, but not to the extent it's been made out to be. He has shaggy... What?
When does Darien have shaggy hair?
Who are we even talking about? We're talking about gravity, and then we're talking about some dude?
Oh, I think we're switching back to the guy I actually like, even though we've been talking about Darien. So we're getting confused.
I know for damn sure. He has shaggy dark hair, kind tiger blue eyes. Darians are always calculating. And the sweetest tiger ever. That was one of the most horribly written sentences I've ever read in my life.
Tiger blue eyes. Look, he doesn't have, unless he has cat-like pupils, he does not have tiger eyes. I'm having flashbacks to MIL.
Yeah.
Please don't. Please do not at all. Don't start making cat noises.
Oh, God. Next thing you know, she'll be peeing all over people. And then piercing them. Let's see. Where are we?
Now I'm imagining Serena with a dick.
Why did you have to
Because
do that?
piercing just went to the completely wrong place.
Why do you have to do that? I didn't say we needed hermaphrodite Sailor Moon.
Because I happened to watch the Sailor Moon the 7 Dragon Balls.
And you'll admit that, but you do a quick jump cut when I talk about Bad Dragon. He may have a nasty temper, however. It has never...
I don't remember the main guy from Ronin Warriors being all that angry.
It and will never be directed at me. You don't know that. You don't know that.
No, that's pretty impossible to know. Unless you have 100% foresight, which Serena doesn't. That's more Ray's thing, but it's more premonition than always knowing what's going to happen. But anyway. His tiger treats me with respect. Are you having sex with the tiger?
He has kind, shaggy, he has shaggy dark hair, kind tiger blue eyes. Oh my God, it's building up. She's having sex with the tiger. No wonder he lets her talk, because he can't speak.
He doesn't know what the fuck she's talking about. He just wants to put his dick in.
Oh God.
I don't imagine that would feel all that great, though.
Yeah, well, cats do have barbs.
Unlike a certain female feline I can name, Luna is a good, awesome cat person. I don't remember if her race specifically had a name or not, but she was awesome. You, ma'am, are a dick. I truly hate that black cat. Wow. Wow.
That black cat came to you, reminded you of who you fucking are, gave you an amazing array of items you can use to transform into something amazing.
It's basically an advisor to you.
Seriously.
Now I'm just having flashbacks to the Sailor Moon movie where Luna falls in love with a human. I just feel so bad for her when she's like, he's never gonna love me because he's got a human girlfriend and I'm just a stupid cat. And then Luna starts crying, and of course Serena, being the cold-hearted bitch she apparently is, hugs Luna to comfort her.
Yeah, actually, it's probably sounds silly, but that is one of a very few films I can always watch, and it will always make me cry.
I always feel so bad because I'm just like, come here, Luna, let me hold you. I mean, it sucks, but you'll find a guy that you really like. I'm like, come here, Luna. I'll take care of you.
That film is one of my favorites, but it always makes me cry. Like it will always make. It usually makes me cry in like 3 specific places. So every time I watch it, I always expect to cry at least 3 times, and it's just like an hour long.
I truly hate that black cat I have to house. Now, Artemis treats me with the respect I'm due. I'm sure he does, being somebody else's cat and guardian. With a sigh, I look back at the girls, whom were trailing behind me. Why? Are they spying on you? Why would they do that? And why only mention the fact that they're there with you now? You had a bitch first before you deigned to inform us low common people that the scouts are hanging out there with you? Whatever. They were talking boys, and I know for a fact Mina, Ray, and Lita are all dating 3 of his friends. Whose friends? Artemis's friends? Or do you mean the guy who actually likes friends, like the other Ronin Warriors? You need to be more, you need to explain this better.
Yeah, all these indefinite pronouns referring to he and him and her and them and whoever else. I mean, basically, we are assuming that you are fucking the tiger, and that's not really an unrealistic assumption if you read back over this story. There is something wrong if you can assume that you're fucking the tiger instead.
I gave them tips on how to handle them. Because you're so well versed in tiger sex. I told C. Mori. Sai Mori, whom Mina's dating, to never ever allow Mina to cook. I can't remember if that is sound advice or not.
I want to say it is. I want to say she's about as bad a cook as Usagi is.
I think so, but I'm not sure. Kento Reifon, Lita's guy, I told to always try out Lita's cooking, as he's an eater like me. Not that she's a good cook or anything.
Yeah, and it kind of...
just eat a lot of it.
It kind of makes these guys sound like they just have nothing going on. Like none of them like to cook or do anything of their own, God forbid. It's just defining these girls as, oh, she cooks well. Oh, she doesn't cook well. The fuck?
Yeah, there was a little more to each scout than one attribute.
It's terrible. It's not only an insulting stereotype, but it's also really kind of embarrassing when you're writing a story and trying to get us to sympathize with this asshole heroine that you've developed, and all you can do is just basically flatten all the other characters down to like barely one-dimensional pastiches.
Sage Date, Ray's guy, him I told to watch out for Ray's temper and all the warning signs. You know why she gets pissed a lot? It's because you do dumb shit. As long as he redirects her, and I've given him plenty of conversation topics to do that, he'll do fine. Or dump her and get a girlfriend that's sane.
So he's not smart enough to figure out to change the topic with her when she gets angry? Seriously, and funny enough, Seiji, I always remembered him being kind of like the cool customer in Samurai Warriors. Like he was, I don't know, what the hell ever. I don't know.
I really can't remember much about it. I have not seen it since I was in middle school and high school, so...
I definitely sidestep Darien and ignore him like an asshole.
Yeah, like he doesn't exist.
But seriously, if someone's there, you don't just do that. That's not only assy, it's childish.
Yeah. Even if you don't like somebody, you shouldn't do that. You should just excuse yourself and go somewhere else.
Yeah, or if you don't want to deal with them, just be like, well, I can't really deal with you right now. I need to be somewhere else. Just whatever. Don't be a dick. That's all I'm saying. Don't be a dick. That's it. And ignore him until I finally snap after he pesters me with wanting to know why I was ignoring him and why I didn't klutz out.
Well, I don't know about the klutz out part, but the ignoring him is a good reason to ask. And you should be like, well, it's 'cause I'm an asshole, so you should dump me.
Seriously, even if you're just being even if you're so done with this dude, just answer him honestly. Just be like, I'm not that into you anymore. Just like you were saying earlier, just be fucking honest. Stop wasting the dude's time. Stop wasting everybody's time. Apparently she loves to waste everybody's fucking time by being a giant asshole and pretending that she gets on well with them. Well, you know what? Maybe you should be honest. Maybe you should be upfront with everybody. You know what, Darien? I've had it. This relationship is over. You treat me like a possession and not a person. You never once asked me my opinion on anything. You never take me seriously, and I just can't stand you.
No real reason to start screaming all this crap at him when he's just like, hey, why are you ignoring me? And then you could just say, hey, I've been thinking about maybe we should take a break from our relationship.
Yeah.
Instead of, being a complete asshole. The girls stare at me stunned, while Darian's face turns red. And totally in character for Darien, by the way. You little bitch! You think I'm going to let you walk away from me? Because Darien so says that. You know, he can be kind of a dick, but
Not that kind of a dick.
no. not like this. He's more of like, it's my business, not yours, go away, more than this.
Well, and every time he's could be considered kind of an asshole in the series, it's because he's got a lot more experience of the world and is much mature
Yeah.
than Usagi is. He's living in basically a different world,
Yeah.
and it's quite a difference in age and experience, and it says a lot that they made it work and everything, but it also is something that every time it's come up in the story, he has good reasons for doing what he does. He's not just an asshole, and he's more like the classic prince, because he's kind of the person that he's from a different world. He's from a different social world. He's from a different area of society, really. Like there was that one episode in S, I think it was, where they go to a party where there's lots of foreigners, and one of I want to say it's Mamoru's English professor or something, and maybe he's helping with teaching or something like that. But she gets drunk. She gets really drunk, and I'm sure they censored this in the English version.
I don't even remember this being a thing, so.
Oh my god, it was so funny. She gets so fucking pissed. She's just like 3 sheets. And she says, "Nice to meet you, cream stew." It was so great. It's like everybody getting crunk. Anyway, I thought it was funny. But I stare back at him hard. Oh god, she does have a penis. Take your best shot, Endymion. I could easily kick your ass. I just elect not to. Well, actually, I doubt that.
Now I'm just wondering, I'm like, if for some reason Sailor Moon and Tuxedo Mask decided to fight each other.
A lot would depend on the circumstances, because like in a lot of superhero battles, you have to kind of think they'd never really do this.
Yeah.
But even if they did, it would probably be very dependent on the reasons why and what was happening around them, what time frame it takes place in, because season 1 Sailor Moon is very different from Sailor Stars. Sailor Moon is very different from Neo Queen Serenity Sailor Moon.
His dark blue eyes gazed into mine coldly. Like hell you can, whore. Yes, because Darien so would say that, even to somebody he was pissed at. I'm sure he would totally call Serena a whore.
Especially in front of her friends.
In public, in a shop somewhere.
In public, yeah. Darien went flying before I could do anything. Thanks for that, Rowan. So does this mean the others are close by, I say?
When did he magically appear?
I don't know, and you would think that someone would have noticed him appearing before now, and you would think he would know what a bad idea this was.
The blue-haired male teen, because, we have to clarify that he is definitely male with blue hair, and he's a teen. Okay, sure, why not?
It's just awkward phrasing.
Yeah. Yeah, not far. I heard about the commotion first, and when I heard that the descriptions of those involved, I knew I ought to check this out for myself.
Does he have a speech impediment?
I don't remember. I don't even remember if the characters had a specific accent. That's how long it has been since I watched the show.
This doesn't involve you, boy, Darien says, getting back up.
Also, you heard about a commotion first, and then if you were that close, they just started arguing now, like 3 sentences.
Yeah, who would have had time to spread this around, along with descriptions of who's involved? It sounds like you set this up. Seriously.
Serena, how the hell have ya put up with this jerk? Rowan asks me.
What the hell kind of accent is this supposed to be?
I was thinking maybe we were trying to go with a southern accent, but they might be trying to pull a Joey Wheeler.
I don't know, are they trying to do like, is he supposed to be like New York, or maybe Boston, or
I don't know.
South, or is he supposed to be Scottish or Irish, or is he supposed to be Jamaican? Who knows?
I've got you up with... I don't know how I'm trying to...
What the hell was that?
It was me trying to put an accent in place and it didn't work.
That was like...
I've got put up with... I can't even say this damn thing with a straight face and a dumb accent.
Oh my god. It's like, it's even better than your Joker voice.
Is it? I don't even know if I could do the Joker voice with this, the way this is written.
That's amazing.
I've got up with this. Yeah, this doesn't work with the Joker voice.
It sounds like he's had some sort of a problem.
Maybe I do, and you just don't know.
The Joker had a seizure or something.
The Joker found out his variant comic got pulled, so he's a little pissed. So, where in the crap are we?
Oh, I think you're just telling Serena how the hell have you put up with this joke?
Right, because I was trying to do different accents. Okay.
Right. Needed him to save the Earth. Hey, I just kicked him to the curb, but he's not staying there. That's his hang-up, not mine, I state. What the hell does that... What does that even mean?
I don't know. It's a bunch of words. It's just words. Yeah, you did need me. You never would have pulled it off without me, Darian states. Pulled what off? Being Sailor Moon? Because that's kind of an inner girl thing for Serena only to become Sailor Moon.
I don't know. I beg to differ with that, Darian. A new voice interjects, one which I knew quite well.
Why are we referring to them by their past lives now?
I don't know. And I also don't know why this author seems to be just so intent on keeping anything happening from us as the audience. It doesn't make it more exciting or more mysterious if you don't refer to people specifically. It seemed as though my real boyfriend was finally going to deal with this kusotare. Do not say kusotare when you have not said anything else in Japanese throughout this.
I don't even know what in the hell that is.
It's an insult. But seriously.
Can we have a English equivalent? So, no?
I can't think of a word that really makes me feel like it compares. Like, I guess you could call him a shitbag or an asshole. I don't know.
The thing is, guys, I understand we like anime and manga, but it's really not appropriate to put a bunch of Japanese stuff in your fanfic because a lot of time people are going to be like, what the fuck is that? And if they have to take the time to go look that shit up and come back to your story, they're probably not going to continue reading your story because they're going to be busy surfing the internet instead. So it's best just to use normal English words. Unless for some reason the character is specifically Japanese and speaking Japanese.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing wrong also if you want to have like a lot of comic books do this where they have someone kind of pepper their language with their native language or what have you. But it has to be presented in a way that someone can kind of assume what they mean, not something like kusotare, which how would you even know? Like it's not something that comes up a lot in casual conversation, even in Japanese. So I mean, if you're going to use, especially if you're going to use a lot of such terms, have a glossary or something so that they don't have to, say, what the fuck does that mean? Is that English? Is that just a word I don't know? It doesn't seem English. Like if they're stopping, that is interfering. That's taking them out of the immersion. They're just going to sit there and be like, well, I've got to figure this out, and they're not thinking about the story, so when they get back into it, it's going to be jarring. They've been pulled out of it.
Darian's eyes widen as he takes in my true boyfriend's appearance, and then we get basically a restatement, which I'm going to have to nearly murder you for restatements. But at least here, it kind of makes sense to give your boyfriend's description rather than when you was explaining it before. Shaggy dark hair, tiger blue eyes. Because he's, a tiger, apparently. Red
Tit for a mile.
Red t-shirt, black jeans, red and white Nikes, because I need to know what kind of tennis shoes he's wearing. His eyes were hard.
And that's not all.
Not you. You can't have been reborn. Who's talking?
The tiger. Oh, Darian, allow me to introduce you to your Sonata, warrior of wildfire, wielder of the Inferno armor, and most importantly, the rightful heir to the Terran throne. And I've been dating him the entire time. We both knew I had to play the bitch queen's game just until Galaxian chaos were dealt with, I state.
How would you know that they would even show up and be a thing?
And if we are presuming that this is post-Sailor Stars and post-Galaxia, that's so problematic. Like, what about Sailor? What about the Sailor Starlights?
Yeah, you kind of had a relationship with that
Yeah, I mean,
girl
really.
or guy, or I'm never really sure.
Well,
I mean, it doesn't really matter to me because I will totally support that pairing, but...
yeah.
Also, how is this guy Prince of the Earth as opposed to Darian being Prince of the Earth?
Yeah, I think she's trying to conflate the elemental correspondences from Samurai Warriors to the celestial correspondences of Sailor Moon, and it's just not working because she hasn't done any work whatsoever to actually set this up.
Nope. Yeah, with me at her side, well, Reina would have ended this a whole hell of a lot sooner. What? What does she have to do with this? I don't get it. Okay. You always were a pansy, Ediamon. How do you know this? You had to have Queen Serenity kill me, and you still... Wait, why would she do this? They didn't... The moon people didn't like the earth people. That's why Darian kind of had to sneak around and date Serena in secret. Kill me, and you still couldn't close the deal with her daughter, could you? Rio snaps.
You're kind of an asshole too. Everybody in this is kind of an asshole. Kind of a huge asshole. Get over it, you're...
Just kill him, please, I mutter, because I'm a complete asshole, and we really haven't stated any good reason why Darian should be murdered.
Seriously, he's a homicidal twat. You're smirks. Oh no, I have a better idea. I'll give him to Sekhmet to experiment with new poisons on. Because you totally do that.
Yeah, pretty much. The rest of the guys look at him stunned.
As they should. Who the fuck are you?
Rio, would it matter if I told ya that he had called Reina a whore earlier? Who the fuck is... Wait, are you implying Serena is Reina?
Who calls her Rena? This is just confusing.
I thought it was the girl from Ronin Warriors, but apparently they're shortening her name to just Rena.
I don't know, and that's even more confusing because they called Tibiusa Rini. So
yeah. Called Reina a whore earlier, Rowan asks innocently, which really isn't innocently.
Yeah, that's not innocent at all. I shake my head at this. Leave it to Rowan to piss Bjorn off on purpose. You're stoltz over to him. What? What?
Apparently he wasn't aware that Darian called Serena a bitch and a whore.
I don't even understand what that phrase... it doesn't matter. Endymion first, my Rena is not a whore. Second, she will never be yours. Third, the earth will never be yours. Fourth, you'll suffer for all eternity at the hand... This escalated quickly.
Yes.
At the hands of a certain Shinigami in particular, after Sekhmet is done with you. This I swear on the river Styx. Because Myo swears on the river Styx. That's what he...
Was that a thing in Ronin Warriors? I cannot remember. Also, a Shinigami? When did, Yami no Matsui become involved in this?
I don't know. Well, Shinigami just means Reaper, a death god, so it could be anyone.
Well, yeah, but I could really pull that from anywhere, but I don't remember these things being a thing in the... Of course, granted, they wouldn't have said Shinigami or anything like that in the English version of the show. I blink. Oh, my half-brother is going to love you, Rio. He's always wanted to torture Indy here. Wait, who? Who what?
Half-brother? Darian asks.
Yeah, Prince
Oh
Duo
my
of Pluto.
fucking...
What?
Don't even try and pull in
What?
Gundam Wing with this, please.
My half-brother through our father, Hades, Lord of the What the fuck?
Hades, Lord of the Underworld? What in the hell? Literally.
So wait, your mother... What? I don't understand! I am getting so confused!
This is a really bizarre cosmology.
I state firmly, my eye is flashing purple for a second, because Serena's eyes turn purple.
No, they don't. They don't. They don't. They don't any more than Jenna's eyes turn cat-like. You're a fucking asshole and a liar, Serena. Serena, if your name really is Serena.
No, it's Rena, remember?
Well, whatever.
Or Rena, or however you pronounce it.
Your size. Rena, keep the Shinimegami sealed up, would you? I know that you want to go after him with everything you have, but you can't.
So she has a Shinigami?
She has a Shinimegami.
Ah.
Which is like the goddess towards death, I suppose.
Fine. Once he's in Shinny's care... Shinny's?
Oh, God.
I'll go torture him then. Shin'll... Stop it! That doesn't make any fucking sense. It sounds stupid. Shin'll share. I say, disappointed. Why would you be disappointed? You get to torture your ex later. I say disappointed, but I knew he was right. At least I'd kick the worthless ass to the curb. He was going to be second slab rat, and then I could help Shinny torture him. All in all, this had been a good day. Even though we're not going to, talk about the Sailor Scouts being there watching all this crap happening and not doing anything about it.
Yeah, we're not going to talk about anything unless it's just... Oh, God. Disclaimer, I do not own Sailormoon, Ronin Warriors, or Duo. Thank God. This reminds me of someone criticizing... This was way back in the days of Gundam Wing being really big and huge, and someone was criticizing some of the Gundam Wing doujinshi, and as you may remember, that was an extremely popular series for slashing, because basically it was just a bunch of pretty dudes. But I remember someone saying, and it was so ridiculous that I never forgot it, regarding Duo, basically talking about how he's basically the team bicycle. Essentially everybody fucks Duo at some point. They called him the super deformed ass rapee of the series. And I was like, I can't ever use that, but that is one of the best insults I think I've ever heard, and I don't know why anybody would come up with it. And I've sat on this for like 15 years. Like, I don't know. I don't understand where it even came from, but it's like super deformed ass rapee. There's just something pure about that. That's how I remember Joe Maxwell.
So, what did you think of this story?
It was a piece of shit.
Yeah, it pretty much was. It was an insult to everything that is Sailor Moon.
Yeah, I mean, like, it didn't have a lot of typos, except for the Shinimegami thing, but it was poorly written, it had no grasp of the characters, it didn't make us really feel like there was any reason for the changes. Like, it wasn't even consistent. Because, see, sometimes if you get, like, the spirit of the character, you can have them doing things that were very different from how they ended up doing things in the series. But by not only setting this after the series, and thereby making us accept what happened in the series up to now...
This seems highly improbable.
Yeah, especially considering all the things that happened up to now that we have to accept happened in exactly the same way as we remember them from the series. There was nothing said in this story that they happened differently or all this, she says she was letting on, and it was all an act and all this stuff. Well, no. But, I mean, there is the potential to write something like this, but
do it better.
Yeah, you'd have to do it better. This was so inconsistent, and then throwing in the stuff at the end about your father being Hades, Lord of the Underworld, that's a bit much. That's just...
And that somehow you're related to Duo of Pluto, which I think you just did that so you could have that rhyme.
I don't know, and And like maybe it was the only Shinigami in that time period that really, you know, lit her fire or whatever. But Duo wasn't really a Shinigami. That was just what he called himself. His Gundam had a scythe. That's it. It wasn't even real. Like it wasn't a real Shinigami. It wasn't a supernatural thing. Like I can see, you know, the elemental stuff of the samurai warriors and the elemental celestial stuff of the Sailor Moon Senshi, but the Gundams don't really have that. It just like pulling Duo in from nowhere was just like, yeah, this is a completely superficial reference that has nothing to do with anything, but I'm going to pop it in here anyway. They don't even look that much alike. How the fuck can they be siblings? How would that even work? Like, it's not even the same timeline.
Yeah. I don't know. There's just a lot I don't know. It's just like this person, like, just really didn't like Darien, I guess, and like this other guy instead, and so they're like, well, I'm just gonna take Serena and ship her with that dude, and make Darien a complete asshole for no reason. And say Serena is a lot smarter than that, when she's not really.
You know, I think some of these elements could have worked if they had actually, you know, given a shit and actually tried to make them work, but they just didn't. And you can't just go alleging all these things without backing them up. It was like how I said in the beginning, it was writing checks that it can't cash.
Yeah, pretty much.
Making a lot of claims that it never backed up, and it was so jarringly different from anything.
Yeah, I mean, you just have to take Serena and the author's word for this is how shit happens, and this is how it is.
Yeah.
But you can't do that. You have to
go
into detail and show that Darien actually is an asshole, that he's been trying to manipulate Serena and the relationship, and the other Sailor Scouts are totally oblivious to the fact that he's a douchebag, because somehow he's charmed them to just see a good person. I mean, you have to work harder than, well, than Serena saying, well, they just don't ask me, and I'm really not stupid or klutz. I'm just not used to Earth's atmosphere, even though I've totally been reincarnated into an Earthling, and I've lived here my entire life since, you know, I've been reborn and stuff.
Yeah, it's too much to ask, especially in such a short time, for any audience to accept. And I think it's even worse. I would like to say right here and now, one of the worst things you can do in writing is try and throw a character under a bus just to make another character look good, or just to prove a point that another character is alleging. Don't ruin one character to try and make another character seem better, because chances are it won't work, and it will make them both look bad. Or it will make the character that you're trying to build up look even worse than the one you're throwing under the bus.
Yeah, and it'll also make you look like a horrible storyteller, and that nobody will want to read any of your other stories.
Yeah, and I mean, speaking as someone that does writing on a professional level, I have seen professional artists and writers do this. Don't do this. For the love of God, don't do this. I've seen it happen too many times. And unfortunately, it doesn't always just get isolated to fanfiction.net. There are actual published works that do this shit, so please don't do this. It is a very bad writing tactic.
I really think that's all we have to say about this story, because it really speaks for itself that it is very anti-spirit of the characters, and just complete disregard for what the actual storyline and character relationship is with each other, and I really wouldn't waste my time more than I just have with this.
Yeah, I mean, you could do this, and I keep coming back to this. There are good ideas here. There are good ideas that may be realized in a better story. You could even do it as a parody. It would have worked if you had done it as a parody and tried.
Yeah.
But it would take a lot.
Well, there's really no trying here. It's just that Darian's an asshole because I say he's an asshole.
Yeah, it takes a lot more than this story is willing to give, and I think that's the worst part of it. It's very mean and mean-spirited, and it doesn't try. It doesn't try and get you to believe in these different versions of the characters, because none of them really has a personality that in any way is consistent with the spirit of the characters. So the shift is more jarring. There's no organic flow. There's no believability that they could ever be like this, because if
You know what they could have done here? What they could have done is, when they went to Crystal Tokyo, they could have found out that the king isn't Darien. It was somebody else. And so they could have been like, what's up with that?
Yeah.
And then when they get back and they try to do some investigating, and then they find out some more stuff. And then you could introduce a relationship between Serena and this other dude from Ronin Warriors. And then just kind of work that. And then you're like, oh, well, it turns out Darien apparently was an asshole in his past life. Is he an asshole now in this life too? There you go. I fixed a major problem that this story has.
Yeah. But that would take a lot of build-up too.
Yeah.
I mean, to do something like that would take a lot more effort than this story is ever willing to give.
Yeah, I mean, that's just the start of what could be a good alternate universe story. But this story doesn't really care. It just has Darien as an asshole, and everybody is an asshole, and that's pretty much all this story is. An asshole. And having sex with tigers. Why can't we get away from MIL?
I don't know.
Like, almost every story I pick up, it has elements of MIL. Or maybe I just see elements of MIL now. I'm still having my flashbacks.
Yeah, I think it will be indelibly sort of emblazoned upon our memories, hearts and minds forever, unfortunately. And I've looking at the profile of the author, it seems like they've got some stuff that they're obviously a prolific author, and
Well, keep in mind, this could be like a troll story.
yeah, I mean, it may be a troll story, or it may be an unsuccessful attempt at being funny or whatnot. I mean, I don't know. The author's been writing since at least 2004 and has written 62 stories for a variety of fandoms.
Yeah, even their profile was recently updated, on the February 25th. So, again, they could, of course, that's the story we just read was, when was this published? 2012. So they could have been a lot younger than they are now and published it. It could just be a not very good troll fic. There are a couple of reasons why this really isn't as good as it could be. So let's see here. Updated. Let's see. Crossover of Sailor Moon and Digimon.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, and reading her info, I have to say, if by some chance she ends up listening to this, we are trying to be constructive, and we haven't read anything else that.
No, we're just basing what our thoughts and opinions right now off of what we have, and as of now, I'm treating this like it's a story that was intentionally written to be a good story. But there are a lot of things wrong with it, especially since all the characters come off as nothing but dickbags.
Yeah, I mean, apparently she's had some problems with people criticizing her stuff. So, I mean, she may well be the kind that's like, no flams,
yeah,
preppies, whatever. She may be that kind of person, or she may just be for real. We don't know.
Yeah.
But as always, we're not trying to be cruel or unkind or rude.
No, it's just that the story needs to try harder to make sense and be more consistent. But as it stands now, I couldn't recommend this to Sailor Moon fans or Ronin Warrior fans because it's just going to piss them off. Because this has nothing to do with the spirit of either story, nor does it really. I mean, it doesn't even make sense in as a story in and of itself. Like I said, I would go back to Crystal Tokyo when they first meet the king, and then they're like, that's weird. It's not Darien who's king of Crystal Tokyo. That's weird. Why did Serena not marry Darien? I thought they were supposed to be since like years in the past during the Millennium Silver Millennium. I mean, there you go. There's a mystery for people to get involved with and solve, and then maybe while they're trying to take down, what was it they were fighting? It wasn't the Dark Moon, or no, it was the Dark Moon, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was.
Okay. Yeah, and so maybe while they're trying to figure out stuff with the Dark Moon and Rini and all of that, somehow the Ronin Warriors get involved.
Yeah, I mean, it like a lot of the superhero crossovers, and I will say again, they are basically both groups of superhero teams. Let's just be plain here. And the fact that they operate in the same general vicinity, yeah, they're ripe for a crossover, but not like this.
No. I mean, basically, you'd have to actually look at how they actually are, how their characters actually are.
Yeah.
And also, where do you want to go with those characters and have it make sense when you transition into something like Darien calling Serena a bitch and a whore.
Yeah, I mean...
You need to build up to that he's been lying this entire time, and then he's really an asshole. And and the reader has to experience that building, I'm not really going to say tension, but that mystery that's slowly being uncovered.
Yeah, and you could just as easily, if you wanted to do it suddenly, at least have the characters be surprised at it.
Yeah, I mean, the scouts were like, oh my god! Like, she just snapped at him, and then but then the scouts don't matter. They just, like, shocked, and then they disappear from the story.
They're gone. That's the thing about it. I mean, they didn't have any contribution to the story after Serena basically kicked Darien to the curb. That they could have did.
Which she didn't exactly. The other guy did, but anyway.
Proverbially. But I mean, it would have at least added something to the story if they had had some sort of contribution with their reactions to him, escalating the situation, or who these, what these other dudes are doing here that they're apparently dating. So you'd think that they would kind of be surprised.
There's just more in all you could do to make this story better and improve upon the concept that's here, sort of. I mean, really, the concept here for this story is that Darien's a dick and everybody else is an asshole.
Yeah.
And that's really not something you can really base a good story on, I don't think.
Yeah, and especially if you're taking characters and calling them assholes and idiots and all this stuff. And, like I said, even in the series Sailor Moon, at times they did poke a little fun at Tuxedo coming along and giving one of his speeches and saving the day. But it was in context, and we got the joke.
Yeah.
It wasn't something that was...
It was more as a nod to the viewer rather than the characters themselves to pay attention to it.
Yeah, and it's not, like I said before, it's not throwing a character under a bus. It's just something that they do being pointed out and kind of, lampshaded.
If you wanted to do something like this where, for some reason, one of the characters has this secret, huge, negative vendetta against another character, if that suddenly, uncharacteristically explodes from them, then what would also be better than what we have here is for that character to actually be there and defend themselves.
Yeah.
I mean, how many times did we bring up, like, Luna being awesome and being basically a mentor to Serena and having to be one of the people to push Serena towards what she needed to do and stop being a crybaby? How many times did we mention about Darien saving her ass when the monsters and generals and all that crap are going to come and kill her?
And if we're supposed to believe that all that was an act, Serena is the biggest asshole in the fucking universe.
Yeah, she pretty much went out of her way to put herself in danger for this supposed act.
Yeah, and she also puts everyone else at risk by just sitting there crying or, pretending this or that, pretending to care. Having people literally die for her because she's pretending? What a dick! These are things that a lot of people don't think of when they write things like this, but when you trace the logic back, it really makes characters seem like huge dicks. And that's not a good thing when you want someone.
No, not unless you want them to be your main villain or something.
Yeah, I mean, you really don't want to backbuild a story that makes someone on retrospect seem like the giantest asshole in the entire universe. It's acceptable if she really is kind of, not the sharpest stick in the bundle, and she's a bit of a crybaby and a little immature, but she has a good heart and she loves her friends and she's there for the people that matter to her, and she's willing to give her all, if necessary, to save the world that she knows. And that's what makes Usagi such a great character. That's what makes Sailor Moon such a great character. She's not the smartest. She's not the most capable. She's kind of a klutz. She eats all the time. She gets poor grades. But she has a good heart. And that's why we love her. She's everything this story, Serena, is not.
So, any final thoughts?
Final thoughts. I think we've adequately covered what one needs to do better to present a story like this in a better way. I like the concept of a crossover between the two groups. As I said, I think that they are really ripe for it, but seeing as how this story is basically pure character destruction for the sake of that crossover and ridiculous hookups that really make sense.
Well, it's not even for the sake of a crossover. It's, again, just vilifying Darien and everybody else and making Serena into an asshole. I mean, there's really technically no reason for this crossover other than, hey, she's dating somebody, most of them are dating somebody from Ronin Warriors. That's about it. It almost seems like the author might have thought she needed to completely vilify everybody, especially Darien, just so she could have a story where Serena was dating the guy from Ronin Warriors.
Yeah, I mean, in some senses it seems to go far out of its way, and in almost every other sense it seems to not really try hard enough.
I mean, like I said earlier, sometimes relationships just don't work. And it's okay to write a story where, for some reason, Darien and Serena didn't get married and become king and queen of Crystal Tokyo. Maybe she decided to have somebody else, or maybe she married somebody else and then her and Darien, got back together and she married him and then they had Rini or something. Or maybe she had Rini from another marriage. And then married Darien. Or Darien just like, well, I'll treat her like she's my daughter because her dad died or something. I mean, you could spin it in any number of different ways and everybody still be in character, but also have what you want so you can make your story work.
Yeah, I mean, it would, and the things that we've come up with, these would be much more interesting and not have to destroy a character for the sake of this story element or that story element. Like what you said, maybe Chibiusa comes from another father, but Endymion in the future raises her like his own, and it would be an interesting story where we would find out about that absentee, deceased father, and you could make it a bunch of different ways. Like maybe he isn't dead, maybe he's just, for some reason had to stay away. Maybe he disappeared. Maybe he was trapped somewhere.
Yeah, or maybe, I mean, kind of cliche, but maybe if Serena did marry somebody else, maybe her, and he had to go in hiding or whatever, maybe Darien steps in and he's like, hey, let's just pretend we're the king, I'm your king and all this, and, I'll cover for him so that nobody actually knows the king is missing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that could be interesting.
I mean, we've just come up with a handful of ideas that would work better and have a lot less
negativity.
Yes, exactly. A lot less negative.
The Negaverse shall not invade, damn it.
Because this really was too negative a story with no real justification for its negativity.
So I think that's all we have to say. I'm Caleb.
And I'm Joe. I'm sorry, I'm remembering last time. I'm trying not to do that.
I was waiting for it.
I know you were. I could hear it in your voice. No, I want to actually be able to do my own outro this
I'm Caleb.
And I'm Hushicho.
And this has been Bad Fanfiction Theater. Please follow us on social media, subscribe to our channel if you like it, and visit our website at badfanfictiontheater.weebly.com. It's got fan art, episode links, and all kinds of fun information. And visit our Patreon if you would, and if you could spare us a couple of bucks, it would make us the happiest people in the world. But anyway, guys, thanks for listening. Bye!
Bye.